Hello. Can everybody hear me? Is this working? Great start. Yes, it is. Awesome. Hello. Hi, Ghost. Hi, Ross Beer. Hi, Yang. Hi, Jess. Hi, Julie. Hello, everybody. I don't want to try to turn the volume up a little bit. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Let's see what I can do. Volume from Discord is much higher. Oh, okay. All right. I'll do what I can. Give me 1 second. Hello, everybody. I'm going to keep saying hello because I'm trying to fix something. How's that? Is that any better? Very quiet. Thanks, Leonie. I'll try my best. I didn't do my makeup today. I left my makeup kit at home. Sorry. Notification for followers is too loud. No problem. I can fix that one, I think. It's this one. Okay. Sound volume. There we go. We're getting there. I'm still learning. Right. Before I start messing around with more audio things, I don't want to hold on this for too long. So thanks everyone for coming. Welcome to our Q&A with Jill, our wonderful talent acquisition manager. Someone at Mooncolony yassify me right now. Please don't. I don't need it. But thanks for coming along, everybody. I hope you will have some really good questions. I'm excited to see what you all come up with, what questions you've got for Jill, and I know she's looking forward to answering them. Yang, I have been told I look good with a mullet, thanks. But I'll move us over so Jill can say hi. I feel like I've left her in there long enough. She's probably getting quite nervous. So 1 second. There we go. Hi, Jill.
Hi, Jayden.
Hello.
I would love to see you in a mullet.
Would you?
That would make my day. In fact, that would make my year.
Would it? Oh, good. Yeah. Maybe next time. Maybe I'll have to grow one. For Halloween, I'll wear a little mullet. I'll wear a wig.
Please do.
Yeah. How is the follower audio for everybody, by the way, just before we crack on? I just want to make sure people can actually hear what we're talking about. Oh, you're getting a lot of hellos.
Hi, everyone.
Can you see? You should be able to see the chat. It's still too loud.
Yeah, I can see the chat.
Good,
Lots
good.
of familiar names from the Discord server, which is nice. Please, Leonie, send me an image of Jayden with the mullet. I beg you.
Yeah. Well, let's get started then. So, obviously, I know who you are, Jill, because I work with you. But not everybody else would. So, it would be great if you could just give us a little introduction to who you are and what it is that you do at Mooncolony. That would be awesome.
Sure. Okay, so I am Jill, as Jayden has already announced, and I been working with Mooncolony since May last year and joined as a talent acquisition manager. And basically what that means is that it's my responsibility to find all of the awesome talent that makes up the Mooncolony family. And that includes obviously all the artistic and creative talent, the illustrators, the designers, the concept artists, all the way through to the support roles, so the management roles, the finance roles, the production project management roles, so the whole thing. And ultimately I work in conjunction with the art directors and the project managers and producers to understand what creative resources our projects require. And then essentially I have to go out and find that talent, which we'll chat about in a bit more detail, I imagine.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my sort of first question.
I
Actually,
don't
is
want to answer the question
yeah,
before
yeah. I was
you've
gonna,
even asked it.
yeah, yeah. My first question, selfishly, was going to be, how do you find the talent? Yeah, it's a big wide world out there, and
Yes.
there's a lot of talent out there. So
Yes, there is. There's an incredible amount of talent, and we're lucky that we have, an existing bunch of incredible talent working with Mooncolony that were here before I joined. But the studio is growing, we're expanding, so we're always keen to bring new talent into the mix. But I guess there's a question that we ask internally before I go out to find that talent, and I will answer. How do you find that talent? What do you do to find the talent? But the question before that really is, what talent do we need? So, that this is something that I'm keen to give people a bit of an insight into, because unless you're working with a studio like ours, you don't necessarily know, what type of talent we might be looking for. So with multiple projects in production, those span smaller design type projects, weapons props design, then we have maybe costume design, cosmetics design projects, and then we have the full cinematic illustration projects that require a bigger team and a different skill set of individuals. So we have all these different projects in production that require different types of artists and different types of skill sets, different styles. So we have essentially a weekly catch up with the project management team, the studio management team, and the art producers and myself, just to run through the needs of the projects that week. If there's anything changed, have we received an increase in assignments that week for a particular project? Is someone off sick? Is someone off ill? Has someone got a holiday coming up that they're off for a month or whatever? And we kind of talk through the different potential scenarios that a project might face, and then that is my call to action essentially at that point, to go off and start to look for a specific type of talent. That meeting happens every week, as I say, so often our talent requirements are on a rolling basis, and sometimes we have to switch and stop focus on one thing and move to another because there's a fire burning in the background. And so the what type of talent that we're looking for, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it changes all the time. So in terms of like the open applications that we have, we get tons of different types of artists applying through that open speculative art position, which is great. Because even if we can't offer something there and then for a specific project, our requirements are always changing. Our talent requirements evolve and change week on week, month on month. So even if you apply and we don't have something that's an immediate fit for you, then we essentially keep you in the database, and we come back to you, and we look at we look at the profiles on a regular basis to check if there's anyone on our radar that could be a potential fit for a project before we start to go and find more talent. So to answer the original question, like how do we find the talent? So I guess we have 3 different sources, let's call it, of talent. So we have applications that come in direct to us via social media call outs, via the website, etc., etc. And then we have talent that has been referred to us by an artist that we're already working with, or an artist that's well known to us, and they've said, like, guys, this person's amazing, I think we should chat to them about project X. So in that situation, obviously we do that. And then the third source really is me going out to find the talent. So that's like the direct sourcing, headhunting route. So looking at, I guess, maybe the applications and the sourcing and headhunting side of things, they are kind of tackled in the same way, in that when applications come in, we are looking at them to fit a particular project where we have a particular need on a specific project, and the application has to the creative portfolio from that application has to essentially fit the project's style. And on the opposite side of that, with the headhunting approach that we take, again, I would have a specific project in mind. I would have a specific type of artist that I'm looking for, whether it's a full illustrator, a designer, a cosmetic designer, a prop designer, and then I would have a specific style in mind as well. So that's kind of how I would split the different sources, and I guess some of the kind of a key headline things that we look for when we go to find talent. I can continue and talk about what we do from a headhunting perspective when I know who I'm looking for and what I'm looking for. I could explain how I do that.
Yeah. I mean,
unless there's any other questions have cropped up in the middle.
No, I mean we haven't had any other questions. Calv's just asked where they can find an application form, and I believe there's still one on our website, right, for the open applications.
Yeah, so if you go to the Mooncolony main website, and there is a careers page. If you click on the careers page, you will see, I think there's four live job roles that are open at the moment. There's an open art, a speculative art. It's there all the time, and that covers, I guess, all of the creative art bases: designers, illustrators, concept artists, viz dev, etc., boarding, storyboarders. Just click on that, fill in some basic information. The key thing for us really is the link to the portfolio. If you have any other social links, Insta, Twitter, LinkedIn, give us those as well. And it's a very quick application form to submit, and then that comes into our recruitment database. So I guess the Mooncolony website is the place to go for current live roles that we might be hiring for. But just to clarify, that open art position is genuinely an open position. It's a catch-all for all of the kind of a 2D artists that we might need to hire, because the needs change so often. We don't have specific types of open art roles listed at the moment, because I would always be taking them up and down because of the fluctuation in terms of who we're hiring for.
Yeah, especially with all the different styles, and as you said, like different styles projects and that we work on, it's quite difficult. So yeah, that's awesome. Marco's pretty interested to hear the rest of the headhunting process, as I'm sure a lot of people are. But just one sort of, I suppose it's a quick one, but would you say that one of the biggest things that you look for is the style more than anything else? So.
Yeah. So if for example, we are hiring for, we'll keep away from the Hearthstone IP for the moment. But if, for example, we were hiring for the Clash Royale project, which is a project that I have been currently hiring for, I'm trying to build that team out, then I guess the first thing that I would be looking for, so my go-to place, as you might imagine, is ArtStation. Whether that continues in the current climate of the AI debate remains to be seen, but for the moment, let's imagine ArtStation's still it's still the go-to place for portfolios. So head to ArtStation, and I guess the first thing I think about is, in terms of the style of Clash, I think about and try to gather other IPs that have a similar look to them, similar character aesthetics. Then I have a think about the kind of overall quality of the key art illustration that we have to produce. And then I'm starting to use search terms in ArtStation, searching for specific IPs that I've sourced that have a similar look and feel to Clash Royale, and there's quite a lot out there, as you might imagine. I'm also looking at, you can filter by different conditions within the ArtStation search space. So I'm filtering by cartoony or stylized, whatever the option might be in terms of style. I'm filtering by 2D medium as opposed to 3D and everything else that might come in. I'm using things like splash, promo art, illustration, so that I'm pulling up portfolios and examples of portfolios that have similar imagery to what we are trying to create, because it's important that any of the profiles that we put in front of our art director, and that's an internal Mooncolony art director, it's important that those guys can get a sense that there's some form of representative image within the portfolio that I've shown them, that they can imagine this artist working and producing that type of work. That's not always possible, because some of the projects that we're working on are just super bespoke, and there's a hell of a lot of nuances or intricacies around the type of work that we're trying to produce. But the key thing for me is trying to establish the key specifics around the overall image that we're trying to produce, and then finding ways to search for that criteria within ArtStation. And sometimes it's like searching for a needle in a haystack. You know, I can easily spend 5-6 hours in one day just searching through ArtStation and not really finding the profiles that I would be looking for. When that does happen, I tend to go back to a profile that has had a bit of a positive response, and then I'll go and look through all of the likes that artist likes, because people don't just like their own style of work, but that usually helps with finding similar profiles that might be producing a similar type of work. So the likes that an artist has on ArtStation is usually super useful for me, and also the accounts that they might be following, and sometimes the followers. But you know, you can be clicking on an ArtStation portfolio that has 43,000 followers. So
what, and you don't check those? What?
That would take me longer than for you to grow a mullet.
Oh,
So
you underestimate my skills.
So yeah, I guess the key point that I'm getting to in terms of looking for talent on ArtStation, it's really important that the portfolio itself is tagged appropriately, that you have listed your images with some key tags and key projects, key descriptors of what that image is, because it means then that recruiters like me can search for those descriptors to narrow down the sheer magnitude and volume of images that you inadvertently draw up when you're searching through ArtStation. But yeah, the key things from a headhunting perspective is definitely trying to find IPs that have a similar look and style and aesthetics to the project that we're searching for, and then using key terminology to try and narrow down the type of portfolio that we can find. I guess the next stage to that is once I've found portfolios that I think are in the right type of space, I guess the next thing that I do is I'll go and have a look at the about section in the portfolio, because some people keep that up to date and they have links to their other social media accounts, which I would love it if everyone did that, because it would save me having to go and do tons of searching on the side. So in the about section, if anyone has listed, you know, their experience, their interests, maybe a bit of a back history of other studios that they've worked at, then that's always useful. I think the other thing that is super useful is the more English language that's used in a portfolio, the more sense we get that someone is going to be able to communicate fluently with us, or communicate, you know, in a practical sense in English in written form. Sometimes it's interesting for us to know other studios that an artist has worked at. But that's not something that we get hugely caught up on. If they have like an incredible list of other studios that they've worked with, great. But you know, if they have an incredible art portfolio and have just been working independently and been freelance and worked around, then that's okay too. And so once I've kind of done that little bit of cross-check just to get a sense of who this artist might be, if there's any other information that I can get beyond just a creative portfolio, then generally those portfolios go in front of the art directors. So it's like a two-stage screening process. I am the first screen and then the art directors are the second screen. And at that point, they are looking through the portfolio, and I guess much more detail than what I would be looking at. They are looking at shape language. They're looking at brush strokes. They're looking at all the sort of a more intricate parts to how an image might be constructed, to get a sense of these images really feeling like the artist is producing work that is, feels like it's transferable to the project and the IP that we are interested in them for. And if the art director gives the thumbs up to that portfolio, then at that point I contact the artist. So we have purposefully stopped recruitment, just going out to town and contacting tons of artists that in the end may not be suitable for the projects that we're working on. So all the portfolios essentially before any contact is made with an artist goes via the art director, and that's been working really well for us. And also it's important that the art director sees the talent, because you want to make sure that they're invested in the person that might be coming to work with them. And it's also part of a recruitment process that the art director, if it's possible, will have a call with the artist in question before we hire them. That's not always possible, because sometimes spoken English is a different level of difficulty, shall we say, than written. So sometimes we can get by with just written communication, but there are some projects that require verbal communication to happen, just because of maybe the technicalities of the workflow that we're having to work to, the intricacies and nuances of the designs that we might be having to design. And in those types of scenarios, we let the artist know up front that there will have to be some kind of video call that happens. Are they okay with that? And sometimes they're not, and sometimes that ends the conversation, because they're if we're not able to have a meaningful verbal communication, then it sometimes just means that that the ability to work together on a particular project just can't happen. What I wanted to mention that I kind of glossed over at the portfolio stage, and this is especially relevant for concept and design portfolios, but equally so to illustration portfolios. Something that we look for from a concept design perspective is to see the ideation and sketch stage that's led you up to get into that final polished design. So we like to see the rough sketches. We want to see maybe 3 iterations of potential final line art ideas. We want to see first pass colors, because these are all the stages that we go through in live production. We go through these stages in terms of review with the art director, review with the client. So it's really super useful for us to see that process laid out in an art portfolio. We don't need to see it for everything, but it massively helps for like cosmetic design portfolios to see the different ideas and different variations of costumes, and because it gives us a sense of your creative process that you might go through to arrive at that final design. I guess the same thing is somewhat applicable to like a piece of splash art or key illustration art, to see a couple different compositional sketches that might have not been chosen, but it shows you the kind of a process that you've gone through to come up with that final idea that you've then progressed. And quite often you see the screen capture of the kind of a variation and iteration process that someone's going through. And even once they've got the final compositional sketch, they're tweaking things, and heads and bodies and arms and stuff are being moved around so that the composition feels like it's on point. And those things are cool to see, because again, it lets us see the creative process that you've gone through to get to that final image, and it gives us a sense, I guess, of how much feedback that you might need in order to create that type of image. And yeah, seeing the creative process is really the key thing for us to kind of get a sense of how you work. So I don't think that's something that is hugely obvious that we would be looking for in a portfolio, but if you can show a couple of images with that kind of a behind the scenes stuff, that's super useful.
Yeah, and just to like do a cheeky plug at the end of that, we've got our blog, haven't we? We've got a sort of what we look for in a portfolio kind of blog, or
Yeah.
how to make a good portfolio. I'll get shouted at because I don't remember what it's called, but it's, it's on the website.
I can't shout at you because I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, no, Christina will. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Christina. She'll find a link and put it in chat. But but yeah, thanks for that, Jill. That was pretty good. We actually got quite a few questions in while you were talking.
Cool. While I was rambling along.
Yeah, well, that's what we like to see.
Yes.
I was like secretly going, man, I hope people start asking questions. But yeah, we've got loads. Let me scroll up and see. Where are we? Nancy has asked, like, what kind of search terms or tags do you usually default to when searching for candidates? If I was to hazard a guess, it depends on the project, right? If you're looking for splash art, you're going to be searching for...
Yeah. So I guess I would think about the headline. So if it's a splash art, the splash artist that we're looking for to work on a piece of splash art, then the headline term would be splash art. And then I would use the filters, because the filters in ArtStation have really quite explicit terms. You've got I don't want to try and list them, but you've got lots of different filters that you can specify, like the content of that splash art. And then I would also be including related IP to that splash art. I would be thinking about whether it's stylized, whether it's realistic, is it like a battle splash art? Does it have tons of like neon colors in it? Is it an action piece? Is it like some kind of action battle? I would think about the type of content that we're trying to create and get some key descriptors into those search terms. But yeah, it is thoroughly dependent on the project and the type of artist that we're looking for.
I think as well, that just goes to show you really need to spend time getting your tags right. Like, spend a good sort of 5-10 minutes at least just throwing in as many words as you can think that describe what you're doing in as much detail as you can.
Absolutely, because otherwise then you have an incredible portfolio, and it won't get sort of a drawn out of the masses, because I don't know of another way that a recruiter could find your portfolio if it's not tagged with certain descriptors.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I hope that helped you out, Nancy. I hope that gave you a bit more of an explanation. Someone has said, I know both are important, but attitude over skills or skills over attitude. I think it's pretty... You don't want to hire someone that's got an entirely wrong attitude, right? It's like...
Yeah. I mean, I'll steer away from expletives during a live stream, but you don't want to work with someone that's not very nice to work with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think skill carries more weight than attitude, but at the same time, if someone has a bad attitude, then we are not going to want to work with that person, because they're working within a team. They potentially would, depending on the role, they potentially would have access to clients. So skill definitely supersedes attitude, but attitude is something that's very, very important and forms part of do we want to hire this person or not?
Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. Like, as you say, why would you want to bring someone into the team that has an entirely savage attitude to,
Yeah.
to the
And
project.
those types of people that exist, like they work as independent freelancers. They don't work within a, you know, a team, within a team space because no one wants to work with them.
Yeah, exactly. And to answer Leonie's question, yes, bullying me does count as bad attitude. So you have to stop. I'm sorry.
Badly only.
Yes, bad. Ayang, what's the most common passage for being hired? Is it mostly recommendations from other artists, or is it through applications and headhunting?
It's definitely through applications and headhunting.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like, sorry, I can see something on my screen, but it's on the screen and it's not on my nose, which is good. I'm happy about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, we get. I'm trying. I should have come armed with this information, but if I was to guess, we get maybe around 30, 40 applications a week. Sometimes it's more frequent than others, depending
Hmm.
on what else is going on and on the website and the socials and stuff. But I guess the point is we're getting a regular stream of applications coming through, direct applications coming through to us.
Yeah.
Um, and from a headhunting perspective, I am putting easily that amount of portfolios in front of the art directors each week to look at, because I guess the key thing to say about headhunting is just because we found an amazing artist and we reach out to them does not mean that they answer, nor
Yeah.
does it mean that they're available. So, I've yet to work out the hit rate of how many people I need to reach out to versus how many
Hmm.
versus how many we actually hire from that outreach. But yeah, the volume of people that we have to reach out to is pretty high because people are busy, and if someone's a great artist, then you would expect them to be busy, or they have an incredibly busy inbox and it takes them a few weeks to get back to you. So out of applications and headhunting, I would say that we hire more artists that we've headhunted than have applied. But like I said at the beginning, the applications are coming in as just a generic catch-all
Hmm.
application flow.
Yeah.
Um, so don't be disheartened if we don't get back to you straight away and say we want to work with you. Um, you could have an amazing portfolio, and we will acknowledge your message and say that we've received your application. But nothing might come of that for 6 months because we just don't have a project that might be suitable for the style of work that you're producing, or maybe we don't feel that you're quite there yet in terms of skill
Hmm.
set. In which case, we make sure that we record those artists and set, maybe what I often do is set a reminder to go back and look at that portfolio in 6 months' time, see if there's
Hmm.
any new pieces on the portfolio. And if there are, then I'll put them back to the art directors to say, here's a new piece. Is there anything else on there that you think we should do? Should we progress conversations?
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, the application front is, because it's that catch-all. It can be a hit and miss, I
Yeah.
guess, is maybe a fairer way to say it, because we're always looking for really bespoke
Yeah.
types of people for bespoke
Yeah.
styles and
Mm.
skill sets.
And it could be that we really want you to work for us, but we're just waiting for the right project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
It's
often what we see is, I'll grab some links from the applications that have come in and I'll share them with the art directors, and I'll say, like, this is a really nice portfolio, and often what happens is they say, yeah, it is, but we don't have a project that's
yeah.
suitable. And that's really frustrating,
Yeah.
because that artist is probably available at the time that they've applied to us, and maybe in 6 months' time we think, yeah, that artist is great for that, and we go back to them, and they're unavailable. But that's
Yeah.
just that's life.
That's life. Yeah. um, yeah. But yeah, I think that answers the question pretty well. I don't want to hang too long onto one thing, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's pretty good. And this kind of goes back to what you mentioned earlier about people showing their process on their
yeah,
portfolio. Um, would you look at like speed paints or like time lapses, like the videos, or
Yeah,
like would they? I don't know if they would take like too long for you to sit there and watch it with like
I mean, I think if someone wants to do one of the kind of a time lapse things, then those are useful to see. If you've already laid out all of the kind of example images, then you're essentially kind of a doubling up. So it's like if you don't want to lay them all out, then lay them out and do the time lapse idea. But it's not like
yeah, it's
I've
not.
never been asked by one of the art directors to find a portfolio that has a time lapse video in it so I can watch it. It's
Yeah,
just, it doesn't happen. But if it's there,
yeah,
and we're particularly interested, they will have a look at it.
yeah. Maybe they'll ask you next time now.
Maybe they will.
They'll be watching. They'll be watching this, and I'll go. Maybe I do
I'll
want to
make
see some
Jill's
time
job even
lapses.
harder.
Yeah. Um, let's see. What else have we got? I'm trying to pick ones that are like easy to weave into. Um, is it worth like reapplying after a few months? So say someone applies to our like open position, and in like 6 months' time they go, actually, I think I've improved a lot. Is it worth sending in another application, or is it just they're probably on your radar anyway? So
Yeah, I mean, I think 6 months is quite a short time to have made like a dramatic difference to your skill set. However, that's not to say that it doesn't and can't happen. So if you feel like you could like totally justify why you're reapplying 6 months later, then yeah, absolutely feel free. But like I say, I guess maybe I'll explain a little bit about what we do with the applications when they come in, because
yeah,
that might help sort of contextualize some of my responses. So when an application comes in, I look at it and I basically apply descriptor tags to that application and to that portfolio within our recruitment database. So I will apply tags that similar to tags that you might have applied to your own portfolio in ArtStation. I apply those tags and descriptors to the portfolio within our recruitment database. And what that allows me to do is to run a similar search process that I would do in ArtStation, but within our database in 6 months' time, maybe when we have a project that needs gritty, realistic fantasy creatures, and those are examples of those were random examples, sorry, but examples nonetheless of descriptor tags that I would apply to a portfolio that had that type of content in it, and I apply them into Breezy, into our database, and it allows me to, in 6 months' time, when I get told we have this type of project, then I go and search within our database at all the applications that have come in previously, as well as all the portfolios that I might have gathered through the headhunting process. And I can use those descriptor tags that I've added to each portfolio when I put them into the database to run a search to extract and filter some of the portfolios that might have that type of content. I hope that makes sense.
yeah, I think so. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted. Someone's just put in the chat, they were like all capitals. It's like, I was cleaning my house and I'm really late. It's okay, don't worry.
We're still here.
Yeah, it's
Gecko
okay.
Boy Advance.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't panic. What else? Oh, I saw a good one a second ago. Where was it? Okay, yeah. So, what are the like typical sort of qualifications or experience that you might expect from like an entry position? So, not like a top of the, not like
Yeah,
top
like
tier
not
artist, but
someone
yeah,
super experienced.
yeah,
I mean, the key thing for us is the art portfolio. It doesn't, not that it doesn't matter, but it won't have like a huge bearing on us hiring you if you have a higher education qualification or not. If you have a portfolio that stylistically, creatively, quality wise meets the type of standards that we need for our projects, and you don't have a college or university education, then that really doesn't matter. Although I just said it, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but generally it doesn't matter. Where it does matter is if you were, and this is more of a kind of a general response, in the situation where it would definitely matter is if you were trying to move countries and were engaged in like an immigration process. Usually as part of an immigration process, you would have to prove that you had the educational qualifications behind you and have studied this particular discipline and have and have graduated in effect to be able to prove that you would be meeting the criteria to go through an immigration process. I can't speak for any other immigration process besides the UK immigration process, but generally speaking, there needs to be a qualification involved if someone is coming into the UK to work with us. So that would be one example, quite an extreme example, but one example of where that higher education, college education qualification really does matter. But other than that, really and truly, it's about the portfolio, and it's about the attitude, and it's about being able to take feedback, being able to implement the feedback, being able to take direction, being someone that you can work within part of a team. All of the kind of soft skills and working practices are important for anyone that we work with. These things are key to be able to work within a team and work within a collaborative environment. But they're especially relevant for entry level artists. So the more exposure that you can get to kind of like team working, whether that's in a peer environment where you guys are reviewing each other's work and taking that feedback and implementing it and all of that kind of stuff, that's really important, because you're always working to someone else's brief. You're never really creating within a client, with a commercial sense. You're always working to someone else's brief. So you need to be able to work to a brief, take feedback on board and implement that feedback into your work. And if you're not able to do that, iterative process, then that tends to be where a relationship might end, even though you have incredible talent. If you're not able to take on that feedback, that can be an issue.
Yeah, I think in terms of getting feedback and working off of other people's feedback, we have a really good Discord community. So
yeah, that's a great plug.
Thanks. Yeah, but seriously, join the Discord if you're not there already. I know a lot of people in here are, but we've got a fantastic community of people there. And if you ever want any critique on anything, then we hold events for that, where actual like Mooncolony staff will critique your work, or just other members of the community will give you some advice and help you out if you're struggling with stuff. So definitely come along to that if you feel like you're not getting enough feedback, or you need more I don't know, you need more practice with receiving feedback, because I know it can be quite a hard thing to take on to start with, especially in the creative industry. You can feel like you're quite attached to your creations. So
yeah, it's your baby.
it is so yeah, if an applicant has already worked on similar or same IPs, let's say Hearthstone and or Legendary Game of Heroes in a different company, would that be a plus? I mean, it wouldn't be a negative, surely.
Yeah, but it would definitely be a plus. I guess, yeah. So I don't want to say anything negative. Yeah, generally it would be a plus, unless there was a reason that you're no longer working on that IP, and there was a negative reason that you're no longer working on that IP. But in a general sense, if you've already worked with an IP that we're interested in working with you on, then yeah, generally that's a plus.
Okay, cool. Is there any new questions?
Someone's asked a question about with with ArtStation and the increase in the AI movement and
Oh
ArtStation
yes, I did see
portfolios
that one.
starting to be taken off of ArtStation.
Mm.
What I would suggest you doing, what I've seen people doing, is they still keep their ArtStation portfolio live, but they strip all the work out of it. But on the About page, that's where you put your link to your separate personal portfolio or your Insta or wherever else you want to host it. I know people are starting to use, I don't want to roll my R's because I'm Scottish and that's a bad idea, and Jayden, you could do this for me. The art, ARRRT,
Art.
art, like a pirate.
Yeah, I think they've
Yeah,
changed their name now. I think
yeah, they
they're
have. What's it called now?
Artgram. I think
Yeah.
is their current name.
It's like,
Yeah, smash them
uh,
together.
yeah. So if you feel strongly that you still want to keep your portfolio out of ArtStation, then my personal preference would be that you just drop the link in the About section to point us to wherever your new portfolio is. Because otherwise, then, yes, it's incredibly hard to find art talent from just Google searching. Obviously, if you have LinkedIn, then you can link portfolio into your LinkedIn profile, but LinkedIn's incredibly difficult to run like descriptor creative searches across essentially what will be millions of
Yeah,
concept artist
yeah.
titles across the world.
Hmm. Yeah,
Sorry, I got distracted by something in the chat there.
that's okay. That's okay. No problem. That's okay. Um, awesome. Oh, thank you very much. We've got about 10 more minutes, so I think we can do maybe a couple more questions.
Yeah,
I've got. Oh, this one should be fun. Do you have any like specific like do's or don'ts? You've covered like a few do's, but do you have any hard don'ts?
um, don't have really old work on your portfolio.
That
Um,
that's one we keep hammering on.
yeah,
Yeah.
like if it's something like you're especially proud of, then that's great. But if it's like 10 years old and it doesn't stand up to the quality of your more recent work, then in a general sense, and you could argue that it shouldn't, but it will pull the overall perception of the quality of your portfolio down, because you have maybe a couple pieces that are really old, that they're your babies, you love them because like they were the first couple of images that you produced and they were painstakingly created. But if they don't stand up to the most recent work, then I would suggest you take them off. Or if you're really keen in keeping them, by means of a comparison to like, look how far I've come. I used to paint this and now I paint this. Then you can do a comparison like side by side, go back and refine that image and show 10 years later like how kick-ass this image really is now compared to what it was.
Yeah.
Or put the old stuff like in a old archive stuff, and you've separated it from the rest of your portfolio. If recruiters and talent hunters are interested in that, they'll click in it, they'll have a look at it, but it's not sitting out there with your main portfolio kind of like drawing the overall quality down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope that answers
Yeah,
the
that's
question.
definitely something I know Emra specifically keeps bringing up in like every
Yeah,
portfolio review, which we
yeah,
host on our
yeah.
Discord. Is yeah, don't just get rid of all the old stuff because
Yeah,
chances are your current work is going to be a million
better.
times better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other one other main don't that springs to mind is don't don't have like 10, this is an example, but don't have like multiple images, multiple finished high quality images sitting behind one image, like on your portfolio. So you can put multiple images behind one image essentially, and it means
Yeah.
when you click on that image you can scroll down and you get a list of images. That's how I would set up like the creative process and the design process and the ideation and the sketches. You're seeing the finished image at the top, and then you scroll down, you see everything else below it. What I've seen happen is that some artists are putting all of their finished work behind one or two images, which means that there could be an incredible image 5 images down that you have to scroll to see, but you won't see it if you just look at the
Mm.
main page. So recruiters are looking through lots of portfolios, lots of images. So you want to kind of lay out your ArtStation portfolio as straightforwardly and as efficiently as you can. So don't like tuck other images behind the main image. If you want to showcase multiple finished images, then put them out as single images. Don't expect someone to think, oh, there might be 20 images hiding behind that. I'm going to click on it and scroll to the bottom. The chances are that's not what will happen, especially if it's a quick look at the landing page. Yeah, nothing's catching my eye. You move on to the next one. And it sounds harsh, and in a way it is harsh, but it's competitive, it's commercial. So definitely don't embed your images because the chances are they might be missed.
Yeah, I think I don't think you mentioned this, but like as well, have the first image in if you're going to have like a stack of images, have that first image be the same as the thumbnail image.
Yeah.
Because you don't want someone clicking on that project and then going, well, this isn't what I clicked on. And then
Yeah,
clicking
exactly.
off it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's betrayal.
Trickery.
Yeah. This could be a good one actually. Shadows asked to follow up on removing some of the older work. How old is too old?
I mean,
That
if I guess it comes down to old as in the quality.
Yeah.
If someone has a portfolio piece that's 5 years old, but it still stands in terms of quality and if you put it side by side with the first image, could you look at the two of them and think there's a visual difference in terms of quality, line work, brush work? And if not, then 5 years old image is not too old. But if you put them side by side and you think like there's significant differences in the type of quality and finesse, then I would say 5 years is too old. It's something to look at with a critical eye, I guess, and feel and make a decision based on, does that work stand up to the newer work?
Yeah. I'm aware that's kind of creeping into portfolio review territory, so I'm going to back out of that a little bit. But what have we got? Do you search on the latest projects on ArtStation or just the trending ones?
Both. Both. Often I'll jump into the trending ones, and then I'll run through the specific types of again, the filters. If I'm looking for like cosmetics and costume design, then I'll go to like the landing page, click on that filter, and then just run through the kind of a latest and or trending stuff under that filter. And then other times I'm just looking at trending in general, and there was a huge amount of Gotham Knights stuff trending last week because like about 50 million people released the content. So like every second image was like, there's another Gotham Knight in the image. It was just tons of trending stuff. So yeah, a mix of both depending what I'm looking for.
Okay, cool. I think we've got time for maybe one more before we we can wrap up. So when you're searching through for people, is it more important for you that they have a specific style that you're looking for, or that they have the sort of ability to flex on that style a little bit and take on other styles? Like, would you rather them specialize or?
Yeah, this is definitely a tricky question. Most often we want to see a specific style of work in a portfolio, but there are times when we stumble across like an obvious freelance artist who has an obvious ability to work across different styles, who might have more of a versatile skill set and or a versatile style set, if that's the right term.
Yeah.
And in which case, that's the type of person that we might want to engage with on like a longer term basis, on less of a project basis, but more on a longer term basis, who has the ability to maybe move across styles. But when we're looking for, generally speaking, when we're looking for a project specific artist, then ideally we will see examples of the style of work that we're looking for on a portfolio. and that style umbrella is a humongous umbrella, and that could be like whether it's the style and or type of content, so splash art, but maybe it's like action adventure cartoony splash art as opposed to like um hyper real
Mhm.
um splash art from a
Yeah.
specific type of
Yeah.
IP that we probably all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ideally we want to see, some kind of a visual reference of the style of work that we're looking to create already present in a portfolio.
Hmm.
It's less risky. There's less likelihood of that not working out if an artist is already kind of a producing art in the style that we might want to hire them with. But it's not always the case, and sometimes we take a chance on an artist because they quite clearly can adapt to multiple styles, and they've got a portfolio that essentially confirms
Hmm.
that, and then we'll give them a shot. But that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen tons of times, and it tends to be maybe more senior artists that have a bit more experience under the belt that we would take that approach with.
Yeah.
But never say never.
The one rule of life.
Yeah.
Um, well, I think that's pretty much our time. I don't want to use up too much of your day. I know you're very busy, so um, thank you
I have I
for
have some children arriving sometime soon, so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's why it was 3 to 4.
Yeah. But thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and answer some questions. I hope everyone in the chat found it useful. I'm sure you enjoyed hanging out for a little while. We don't talk nearly enough as we
Yeah.
should, so um, it was
Yeah,
it
it's
was
been
lovely.
cool.
Yeah.
I feel
Uh,
privileged that am I the first person to have done
you
Twitch
are you
on
are the
behalf of Mooncolony?
first. Yes.
So proud of
Yeah.
that. Did I get a badge or something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll send you a badge. I'll send you a badge in the post. Or I'll give you one next time I see you.
Great.
Yeah, it may just be a post-it note with a safety pin on it, though.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll leave you there then, Jill. I'll hop into my own little solo thing for a final wrap up. But
Cool.
thanks again, and lots of love. I'll speak to you soon.
Cool. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys. See you later. Bye bye.
Bye. Well, there we go. That was that. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'm seeing now I've got like 80 viewers, so that's incredible. Thanks so much for coming along. It's been great to have you all in chat. Um, this is the first of what hopes to be many Twitch streams, so expect some more in the future. I can't give too many details yet, but hopefully more Q&As and other fun activities. Um, you're welcome. You're welcome, guys. You like my glasses. Thank you very much. um, thanks. But I'll have to say goodbye now. But I will be in the Discord as always. I pretty much live there permanently. Um, so can you get streams of me gaming? Hey, maybe if you pray hard enough, you'll get it. Um, yeah, but I don't want to ramble on too long, or else it'll get awkward. So, goodbye, everybody, and I hope to see you in Discord soon. Bye.